Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vanessa Fleener, and I'm the Director of Marketing here at Hawk, and I'm pleased to be the first person to welcome you to this webinar. This webinar is entitled Resurfacing Solutions in Odor-Sensitive Environments. And before we get started, we have a couple of quick housekeeping details that we'd like to go over with you. First off, all attendees are in listen-only mode for the duration of the webinar. We will be answering questions at the end of the webinar as time permits, and you are invited to submit your questions throughout the session using the Q&A function on the webinar dashboard, as you see on the screen here. Please also note today's webinar is being recorded and will be available shortly after the session concludes for your future reference. With that said, I'd like to introduce you to today's speaker, Carissa Torp, who is Hawk's sales manager. Chris has been with Hawk for more than 13 years, and she has a lot of experience in various sales roles at Hawk. And with that, Carissa, I'd like to turn it over to you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Vanessa. I appreciate it. As Vanessa mentioned, I am Carissa Torp. I'm the sales manager here at Hawk. I've been with the company for about 13 years. And prior to my sales role here, I actually worked for a local refinishing company. So I very much understand your day-to-day experience and your customer needs. Welcome to everybody. I'm sure I've spoken with most of you before, but we're glad that you're all here, both familiar faces and new faces alike. So the reason that we're all here today is because you all have an interest in learning about low odor and low VOC refinishing solutions. So on today's webinar, we'll start by telling you a little bit about our company. We'll talk about today's regulatory landscape and what considerations you should make as a business owner. We'll go over the water-based solutions that Hawk has and the process involved. And we'll talk about specific applications and markets for these products as well. Then we'll finish up by going over some resources that we have for you, a special promotional package that we've put together. And then finally, we'll finish up with a Q&A. So if you're new to us, again, we appreciate you being here. If you're already one of our loyal customers, we're so grateful for your part in making Hawk who we are today. Okay, so who is Hawk? Many of you are already familiar with our products. Some of you here may not be. So on the next few slides, we'll be talking about our history, who we are and what we represent, and what we're doing to grow our industry and better serve you, our customers. Hawk has a long-standing history in the resurfacing industry. We were founded in the late 1970s, so we have over 4 decades of serving the kitchen and bath space. Over the years, we've established an unparalleled reputation, and this has brought us to where we are today in our state-of-the-art facility and vast manufacturing capabilities. Providing consistent and quality service has always been our priority. Since our start, we've maintained our extremely high quality standard, our excellent customer service team, unmatched expert technical support, and we continue to grow our available resources to help support your business. So I'll go over those resources later on in the webinar. All of this being said, it's critical that we continue to grow and evolve with our industry and your consumer demands. Examples of this include expanding upon our traditional product range to accommodate new applications, technology, and needs, growing international distribution to reach other parts of the globe, and growth into new markets so that you can expand your scope of services as well. One of the ways that we're doing that today is by making thoughtful acquisitions into adjacent industries that make sense for us and you in turn. A key piece in Hawk's reputation and our identity is our diligent R&D efforts. We are continuously making improvements to our existing range, whether that's improving performance or making applications easier for users. We're constantly evolving with the changing market and customer needs. We're also listening to our customer base to identify any unmet needs and introduce new benefits, all the while upholding our rigorous QC and performance standards in all that we do. We wouldn't be able to deliver on all of this if not for our veteran staff. The R&D team is led by a PhD chemist, Dr. Matt Joshi, backed by a team of chemists and supported further by our QC manager and Hawk trainer, both of which are industry experts with 30+ years of combined in-field experience in applications just like the ones that you're doing every day. Examples of our diligent R&D efforts over the years are the launch of our low range, which are low odor, low VOC solutions, the development of our Redux range, which provides repair solutions to the spa and hot tub industry, and more recently, the expansion of our WB range, which are the lowest odor systems available. So the last piece of Hawk's identity that I want to talk about is our manufacturing capabilities. This is truly a critical element of who we are and what sets us apart from other suppliers in this space. We had humble beginnings, just like any company just starting out. Though small and in an office that looked oddly similar to a garage, Hawk's founder brought a formula to the market that quickly gained traction. Utilizing contract manufacturing to bring Hawk formulated products to the market, our brand gained recognition for unmatched performance, eventually growing from garage to warehouse space and establishing national distribution. Flashing forward, after decades of formulating solutions for our market, Hawk acquired our own manufacturing facility in Florida. Despite having ownership over our recipes over the years, this was the first step into owning our own manufacturing operations. With our staff of chemical industry veterans, we established full ownership and oversight through every single step of the manufacturing process. Once we had settled into the manufacturing space, the next huge step was designing our very own manufacturing plant. So today, all Hawk products are developed here in the lab in our Wheeling, Illinois facility, and then manufactured in our West Bend, Wisconsin, state-of-the-art production plant. This evolution afforded us expert navigation of the supply chain over the last several years through some of the toughest times that the chemical industry has seen in decades, which was the pandemic. During COVID, many suppliers ran out of critical products because they had no control over raw material sourcing of their own, and toll manufacturers left them waiting for products. Because of who we are, we were able to provide uninterrupted supply to our customers through those dark years, and we're very proud of it. Moving forward, Hawk will continue leading the charge on growth and investment, and we hope to continue integrating new industries, developing new products, improving production processes, all while upholding this unwavering reliability and quality that you've come to trust from us. So now that you know who we are as a manufacturer, I want to discuss the regulatory landscape and how that defines some of your product needs. So first and foremost, what are VOCs? These are volatile organic compounds that have an impact on the environment. VOCs are already being regulated in many states today, and those regulations are changing and evolving all the time. With these changes brings the need to utilize products that are compliant, meaning that their VOC content is within the amount allowed. Within the market, we're seeing growing interest in eco-friendly solutions. This is driven by a few factors, the regulatory demands that we just went over, but also consumers with environmental concerns or job sites that need to meet certain specifications and criteria. With all this said, it's not the first time that our industry has had to keep up with changing demands. So with these changing demands, coatings technology and performance has continued to improve, making it possible for manufacturers like us to provide high quality, high performance systems that also meet the environmental expectations that are set by consumers. Paints and colorants have been around since the Stone Ages, but around the time of the Industrial Revolution, demand for higher performance in a coating system really began to grow. In the 1930s, the first water-based acrylic paint was released. The 50s and 60s brought about increased concern with air pollutants. In the 1970s, the first two-part process was developed, utilizing a primer followed by a finish coat. And shout out to Hawk, who was founded in 1978. When we get into the 90s, this was when the EPA started regulating VOC emissions, which drove the launch of the first ever no VOC coating. Into the new millennium, performance standards continue to rise as our industry evolves. And in 2018, Hawk rolled out our low range of low odor and fully VOC compliant coatings. In 2020, we launched our first water-based primer system, Ultra Grip WB 7400. And this year, we're thrilled to announce the arrival of our first ever water-based clear coat, Blastech WB 7900. So as we get into product-specific discussions on these next couple of slides, it's important to understand where coatings technology stands today. We are breaking the historical misconceptions that green products are lower grade or can't perform as well. And as applicators, you don't have to worry about sacrificing performance when using eco-friendly products anymore. Hot coatings in particular undergo rigorous performance and quality control testing, and our water-based range is no different. These systems withstand the same tests that our traditional range is put through. As the users of these products, your standards are driving quality improvements over time. And in this example on this slide here, you can see that our Ultra Grip WB 7400 primer is classified as 5A and 5B in the respective adhesion tests, and these are the highest possible ratings that a primer can get. Okay, so now that we've covered the regulatory and environmental considerations, let's talk about the process for delivering a truly low odor application and the products that you could utilize to achieve this. First, it's important to differentiate between low and WB. I've used these terms a couple of times already. So today we're going to be focused on the WB systems, but just to distinguish, low is they are solvent-based systems. So this means that the vehicle that allows the product to move and flow is solvent. As I mentioned, the low range was launched in 2018. All of these systems are lower odor than our traditional products, and they're fully compliant with VOC regulations in any part of the country. Now, the WB range utilizes water as the vehicle, which makes these products even lower odor than our low range. And this is because solvents are one of the main contributors to overall odors in products of this nature. So WB systems possess virtually no odor at all and are also fully compliant with national VOC regulations. And I just want to point out with this graphic, it's not an exact representation of the ratio of ingredients used in our coatings. This is just breaking out the vehicle aspect as a visual for you. So now we'll talk about the step-by-step process for maintaining the lowest possible odor on a job site. You can see here that the process is quite similar to your applications today, covering the same key steps from surface prep to primer to design coat and then finishing with top coat. With any coatings application, surface preparation is critical to the overall lifespan of the finish. So depending on your substrate, you should include any cleaning or etching steps that you normally take to prep the surface. In most cases, etching is going to be necessary, and this is the process of making the surface porous so that coatings can grab onto it and adhere well. For softer surfaces like fiberglass, acrylic, laminate, formica, cultured marble, we would call this a mechanical etch, which involves stuffing the surface with sandpaper. And for harder surfaces like ceramic, porcelain, or even glass, chemical etching is usually necessary. So to keep odors down, we recommend our Force Etch Edge. This is a newer addition to our range. It's red in color. It has no hydrofluoric acid added. So it makes it a great fit for when you need a reliable etching product without the harshness of some of the more traditional etching formulas. So to achieve the longest lifespan, it's important to use a bonding agent prior to spraying or rolling your primer coat. Hawk has a variety of bonding agents that are compatible with our water-based coatings and provide an easy wipe-on application with no mixing necessary. These are often called wipe-on primers, but it's important to know that we don't recommend this in place of a traditional primer. The best practice is actually to use both for optimum adhesion. So after the surface is fully prepped, a quality primer is necessary for a lasting finish. Epoxy coatings provide excellent adhesion, which is why most of the best primer systems out there use epoxy-based chemistry. They're known for being very durable, extremely versatile, and for producing an excellent bond to the substrate. So Hawk's water-based primer is epoxy, and it's called Ultra Grip WB 7400. So 7400 offers a simple 1-to-1 mix ratio, and you can reduce this one with water as needed. So that's important because it's one less component that you have to stock because you're not buying reducer. You can spray this or roll it depending on your preferences. It has a total VOC content of less than 25 grams per liter, and it's virtually odorless. You'll get 230 square feet of coverage per mixed gallon, so it's right in line with our other traditional primer systems. It has a 4-hour pot life and 30-minute recoat time in ideal conditions. Keep in mind that with water-based coatings, high humidity can increase dry times. Compared to solvent-based primers, Ultra Grip WB will be much lower in odor. It's simpler to mix with only 2 components. And it's also extremely easy to clean up because you only need water to flush out your gun when you're done. Okay, so the next step in the process would be your design coat if you're not going for a solid color finish. For any jobs where a stone-like finish is desired, you can use one of Hawk's multicolor systems, which deliver everything from a natural granite look to a finish that looks like concrete, or even metallics to enhance the final results. All multicolor designs are applied over a chosen primer color and then clear coated after. So some of your options would include our Stoneflex Ultra. This is our original multicolor. It's a timeless look. It'll imitate the speckled designs like granite or crushed quartz. It has larger particles, so it gives you more depth and more obvious color variation. Then we also have our Loft collection. So this is more understated, more chic, and this will imitate more subtle stone surfaces like concrete or slate. And it has smaller particles for more of an overall solid look. And then lastly, we have our Dream Metallic Flex. So this is a metallic color range, and these are individual colors like pearl or gold or silver. And these could be used to emphasize a Stoneflex design or used standalone if you're just looking for a single color fleck. The example picture here shows a couple of our metallic overlays over some of our popular Stoneflex colors as a visual. All of these designs are low odor and fully compatible with both our WB primer and WB top coat system. All right, so the final step in any coatings process is top coat. As mentioned, we are very pleased to announce the launch of GlassTec WB 7900 Clear Top Coat. This is the latest addition to our water-based range, and we're very excited to be able to offer this technology. GlassTec WB is a semi-gloss clear coat that delivers the same familiar performance characteristics as our original GlassTec and GlassTec Low. Key characteristics are the 2H pencil hardness and the ability to spray or roll this system depending on your preference. This one also has an easy mix ratio of 1:1, just like the WB primer. You can reduce this with water as needed. So again, that's one less component that you have to purchase and stock. This one will have a VOC content of less than 100 grams per liter. So again, it's compliant in any domestic regulatory region. It's also virtually odorless, and it'll give you a coverage rate of 270 square feet per mixed gallon. This one has a 2-hour pot life and a 48-hour return to service time. It's also important to note just one more time, as of today, GlassTec WB Top Coat is only available in a semi-gloss clear finish. In the future, however, we will be building this range out further with the availability of different colors and other gloss levels. Okay, now that we've covered the full process and the product range, we're going to talk about when and where you can actually use these systems. So first, let's talk applications. These systems are compatible with almost any substrate, including porcelain, ceramic, laminate, fiberglass, or acrylic, just to name a few. Surface types will include tile, bathroom partitions, worktops in classrooms, hospitals, front desk entrances, or vanity tops, just as some examples for you. Just as you do today when taking on a project, it's important to consider all job site conditions and customer needs to determine what coatings combination is going to be a good fit. So when considering our WB range, start with these factors. VOC requirements. We know all of our WB systems are VOC compliant and will be a great fit. Odor sensitivity. These systems will deliver the lowest possible odor available. Desired gloss level, as I mentioned, GlassTec WB is available in a semi-gloss. And then lastly, consider daily wear and tear. GlassTec WB is going to be a great fit for surfaces that see normal daily use and need a durable finish, but they might not be ideal for things like floors that see high foot traffic or surfaces that see particularly heavy abuse like kitchen countertops, where you need a harder finish like our Stone Dart. So on the next couple of slides, we'll go over the wide range of job sites where these systems are an excellent fit and are already being used today. getting into these specific markets, I want to highlight the types of jobs where a low to no odor process will be sought after. We already know that a low odor process can benefit any type of job site as we evolve into a more eco-conscious society. But with that said, certain job sites are naturally going to be more strict about odors than others. So hopefully this range of products will allow you to take on these projects instead of passing them up. So examples with respective considerations include healthcare. These facilities need to remain fully operational while the work is being done. Long-term care and senior living, which have odor-sensitive residents on premise around the clock. The food and beverage industry, restaurants can't have lingering odors that would disrupt workflow. Education and childcare is another one, where there are other classrooms or other wings of the building probably still in use. The hospitality industry, as we know, most hotels are booked year-round with limited vacancies. And even sensitive residential jobs, because people naturally have varying tolerance for odors. So all of these job site types are an excellent fit for the water-based low odor systems that we went over. Although GlassTech WB Top Coat is a newer addition, these systems have already been widely utilized in the field amongst a group of key customers who completed field testing and provided us with feedback throughout the developmental process. A couple of these customers even offered testimonials for today's webinar. Justin in Minneapolis mentions using our WB range on both a hotel and a hospital. These are both high occupancy areas that can't have heavy odors, and the process and final results were highly successful. And then Jim in Cincinnati provided his feedback on 2 jobs he completed using these systems, one being a church with a busy schedule of events, and another being a nursing home bathroom directly outside of the cafeteria where residents have their meals. So both customers were thrilled with the results and that there were no disruptions to their activities or residents. As we roll out our new GlassTech WB Top Coat and hopefully generate more awareness surrounding our water-based range in general, I want to go over the available tools and resources that we have that will make these services easier for you to incorporate into your offering. We have safety data sheets and technical data sheets for all the products that we discussed today. Tech data is going to include things like product specs, mixing instructions, and application recommendations. We have our expert technical support team here to offer you guidance and tips. They can help you troubleshoot on the job, and they can also provide recommendations for you based on specific job site conditions. And we also have white papers to help you win bids with specific criteria. So maybe that's smoke and flame spread resistance or slip resistance testing, FDA compliance. We can help you check all those boxes as well. Now, from a sales and marketing standpoint, we have product literature that you can utilize. We have a primer and top coat family brochure, as well as our StoneFlex color chart. The brochures in particular feature a really helpful reference chart that will show you all of our available systems with special characteristics that will help you decide what products are going to be a good fit for each job site. And we also have a tool called Hawk Hub. This is a marketing portal that is available to all current and active Hawk customers. And this is a totally free marketing tool. It allows you to log in and upload your company logo onto any of the professionally designed pieces of literature that we've already created. And you could download these as many times as you want for no charge, and then print as many as you'd like with your own printing resources. But hopefully all of these tools can bring new interest and sales to your company. So as a thank you for attending this webinar, we've put together a specially priced bundle that includes all the products that I went over today. With this promotion, you select your primer and your StoneFlex color, and we'll give you enough material to cover about 500 square feet. So this is everything from bonding agent to top coat at this special discounted price. And details of that surprise promotion will be sent to you via email later this week, also with a link to the webinar recording, as Vanessa mentioned. All right, so that's it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this was informative and enlightening. I just want to say it again, I know that you have busy schedules and probably limited free time running your businesses. So I appreciate that you took even a little bit of time out to be here with us today. Before we wrap up, we are going to open it up for a Q&A. and we will, we'll get to as many of these questions as we can. I just want to mention, if for some reason we don't get to your question here on the webinar, we'll follow up with you via email with some answers and information for you.
All right, Carissa, we already have some questions funneling in here, so if you don't mind tackling those one at a time, we'd appreciate it. The first question is, when you're reducing with water, what reduction ratio should you use?
So this reduction rate is based on user preference, but we usually recommend starting at about 5% and then working up from there as needed.
Excellent, thank you. And the next question is, are samples available of the new products?
Absolutely. We can, I'm sure you all have your channels for ordering, but just reach out to our customer service team here in the office, and we can offer you a sample of any of these systems that we talked about today.
Great. And is there a way that we can use the clear water-based top coat on tubs over a white primer system?
That's a good question. You can, but it's important to understand that it will deliver a semi-gloss finish versus the high gloss finish that typically consumers are expecting with a tub application. So as long as you have clear expectations set with that, you could. You'd also probably want to use a brighter white primer than our standard white primer. That tends to be a little on the dull side because it's typically covered up with top coat.
Great. And can you talk about the time frame on when we might expect additional color options available and additional gloss levels?
You know, it's at the top of our list. I don't want to make any promises in terms of exact timeline, but it's something that we're diligently working on today.
Excellent. And from a gloss level perspective, is there a way that you can encourage achieving a higher gloss level, even though it's a semi-gloss today?
You can probably buff and polish the surface to improve gloss a little bit, but I don't want to set unrealistic expectations in that you could bring it from a semi-gloss to a high gloss. But I would encourage you maybe with one of the samples that you order to try some test panels in your shop and see what kind of gloss you could produce there.
Great. And from a downstream compatibility perspective, are there any cleaners that you would recommend for the GlassTech WB?
So GlassTech WB is a polyurethane, just like our traditional top coat. So you'll want to use the same range of coatings friendly cleaners that you would on those systems.
Great, thanks. And what is the window of time from which you can apply the second and third coats of water-based clear?
So Matt, do you want to jump in and talk about recoat window?
I got Scott over here.
Yeah,
Sure.
well, as far as recoating, you want to put on a moderate coat and wait till that white haze disappears from the first coat before you apply the second coat, because you don't want to trap the moisture in there. So generally it's about 20 minutes, depending how heavy you apply it.
And as I mentioned, when you're using water-based coatings, it's also really important to consider job site humidity, because that's going to extend flash rate and dry time to recoat.
Great. Great. If there are no other questions, then we are going to go ahead and throw it back, Carissa, to you for any closing comments.
I just want to thank you again for joining us. I know you're busy. We certainly appreciate you and joining us on this webinar. So give us a call, email us, reach out to us. We'd love to share more information on these products with you and talk about whether they would be a good fit for you.
Thank you all. We appreciate your time and have a great day.
Thank you. Take care.